guys, how about a little story time this morning? Most of you know that in 1995, Mama Warner and I opened up a little steel sale shop in downtown Indianapolis. And just a really small company, just the two of us for quite a number of years. And then along about 1999, maybe 2000, somewhere in that time frame, I had a young man pull up into the shop, pull up to the shop to pick up some material, and he was driving a 1964 Chevy long bed pickup. And he purchased his material, and we loaded him up. He went to take off, and something happened in the clutch. I don't know if the ball, the pivot on the fork or something, anyway, rendered the truck undrivable at the time without some kind of fix on the clutch. So he left it in the parking lot and said, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up. Didn't show up the next day. Finally, 3 or 4 days later, excuse me, shows up to pick up to get the truck, and still doesn't really have a plan of how he's going to move it. So I asked him, I said, well, how much do you want for the truck? And he kind of looked at me. He says, how about $300? And I said, let me go get some money. So I walked up to the office and got $300, and I paid him, and I bought this truck. And at that time, it was in just a gray primer. It had a small block Chevy, V8 Chevy in it, with a 3-speed. It was on the floor, actually. Somebody had put it on the floor, 3 or 4-speed. I can't remember what it was. But I pushed it into the back of the shop, and it sat there and didn't touch it. Just pushed it in the back of the shop and just let it sit. And then along, I would say 2003, 2004, I had a employee that was working for me. And at that same time, the TV show Overhauling had become popular with Chip Foose. And the employee and myself, we both watched it, and so we would talk about it all the time. And he was like, man, that'd be really cool to do, wish we had a vehicle to do that with. And I was like, well, we've got that old 64 Chevy truck. So over about a year period, we completely disassembled this truck, took all the sheet metal off of it, took the frame down, took it all the way down to the bare frame, took the frame, everything off the frame, rear end, everything, had it all sandblasted. I had to get new trailing arms for the rear end because those were rusted out. Put those on. We painted everything as we went, cleaned up the rear end. Decided we wanted to put disc brakes on the front. So I had a brother-in-law, or I have a brother-in-law who had a square body, I can't remember, 75, 76, 77 square body Chevrolet pickup, half-ton pickup, that we robbed the front subframe out from underneath it. And it's just a matter of, I don't know, what is it, 8, 10, 12 bolts or something that holds that whole front end to the front of the frame. So we took that out and we put it up underneath this truck and put disc brakes on it. Put everything, got the engine, drivetrain, exhaust, everything. It was looking beautiful. We painted everything as we went, looking really nice. When we got to the body work, that's when the project died. I wasn't any good at body work. The guy that was working for me wasn't any good at body work. So the project kind of died, and it sat there for probably close to a year. And then in 2006, we moved. We bought the current location where I'm filming at right now. I bought this 3 acres of property in Indianapolis in July of 2006. So as we're moving everything, we load this up. And in the meantime, I had bought everything from the firewall forward, minus the hood, is all brand new. Fenders, core support, inner and outer fenders, all that stuff is all brand. I had everything brand new in boxes, but it was the cab. We had cab corners, rockers, floorboards, but you know, when it came to trying to weld that stuff in at the time, we weren't really very good and didn't know how to get it done. And so anyway, so then in 2006, we load up all those parts, the chassis, all this, and we move it to this building that's behind me here, which was just kind of, at that time, was just a storage facility, excess room. And it sat there from July of 2006, and then in the fall of 2011, my youngest son comes to me and says, "Dad, it's my senior year of high school. I want to, in the spring, when I get ready to graduate, I want to drive something cool to school." So I'm like, okay. And at the time we had this, we had a Dodge, a 50s Dodge Meadowbrook car, a couple other things. And I said, "Well, what do you want?" He said, "Well, what's going to be the easiest, quickest, get me going?" And I said, "Really, honestly, the truck is. We just need to put the sheet metal back on it." So by that time, I had gotten a little bit better with welding and so forth. So we welded in some floors, rockers, and cab corners. It's not very good, you know, but it was, at least it didn't have holes. And in about 3 months' time, he and I put this truck back together. We sprayed some paint on it. It actually looked, at one time, it looked really, really nice. And so when he graduated from high school in the spring of 2012, this was what he was driving. And then he goes to college and only used it as a summer vehicle for about 4 years. And it was in the summer of 2016 that he gave me a call and said, "Hey, something's up, it's not running right." And he was about 10 miles south of here, and so I went down, met him down there, and it was running but not good. But we limped it up here. We parked it right here in the summer of 2016, and it hasn't moved, and it's February of 2023 right now. And as you can tell, stuff's grown on it. We've got green stuff growing on it, and the paint's all faded and chipping off from sitting here for what, 7 years, something like that, whatever it is. So I'm gonna see if I can get it to fire up, and he said he'd like to drive it again. So we're gonna see if we can get it to fire up, get it to move. But let me pick up the camera, and we're gonna do a walk around, and I'll get you a little closer look at it. All right, let's do a little walk around. It's actually not a half bad pickup. Back up just a little bit, maybe. Boy, this roof used to be a nice white. Look at it now. It doesn't take long, does it, when you just neglect stuff? It's got this crap growing on it. Chrome's off the tire, off the rims. We got one flat. The rest of the tires are holding air still after all these years. Now, the biggest issue with this truck, one of the issues with this truck that I hope to resolve, is the lug pattern. This truck originally had a six lug pattern, and then this front end we put underneath it is a 5 lug pattern. So we've got two different, obviously front and rears are different. The rims aren't interchangeable. I don't even think he ever carried a spare because of it. But anyway, it doesn't have the trim on the fender, but it does have the rest of the trim. This trim right here is supposed to come down along this fender, but it was in horrible shape on the old fender, so we just didn't put it on. And somebody's, put screws in it. We didn't do this, but somebody, previous to us has put screws in it to hold it on and so forth. But now the body work, we didn't mess with the doors. You can see where someone riveted panels onto the bottom part of the door. Now you can see that. Now that is some of my finer work from however many years ago that was. What was that, 12? So what, 11 years ago. But that's got new rocker, or new cab corner, and new rockers welded in. The bed is just a catch-all of junk since it sat out here. I think that was a rack. He hauled bicycles with set bicycle tires in that. Hauled a couple bicycles for he and his wife. Still got most of the original wood bed and piece of steel on top. Let's see. We welded in. Looks like I welded in a patch right here. Boy, I did a really good job smoothing that out, didn't I? Excuse me. But the rest of this side's not too bad. It's got about a 10,000 pound bumper on it with the exhaust sticking out the back. Got a bad spot right here where it looks like some Bondo there again. Oh boy, that's really loose. There's a hole right. That probably hole is the original bumper. I think was huge, came and wrapped around and went up to about this far, and that might be a mounting hole from the original bumper. I wonder if there's one on the other side. Yeah, right there. But we got more of the same over here. Oh, we're starting to get a blowout right here that we didn't have before. But cab corners, rockers are welded in. Oh boy, the corner of the door up here is gone. Like I said, both of those doors, I think the bottom part of them have been replaced or patched by someone previous to us. It's got a rust spot right here. Excuse me. So a little dent right here, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of dents and dings in it. We'll go back around to the driver's side to look inside it. Got too much stuff stacked over there. We put seats from a early 2000 Chevy truck, so we'd had seat belts in it. Pretty much stock dash. Looks like at one point started some work to put a stereo and Bond trying to clean it up and just never finished that. It probably was when it started running bad. I think the ashtray might have been right there, and we deleted the ashtray and put some gauges. It had black carpeting at one point, but it has sat out here so long it's no longer black. It's all faded. You can see that the rockers, and it's fairly solid. You can tell there's no excuse me, boy, I got a frog in my throat, guys, so I apologize. There's no shifter. Nothing on the floor, nothing on the column here. You shifted it with the emergency brake cable. See, I've got a shift cable mounted to it right here, which is kind of cool because the way it locks, it would lock, so all the way back to you locked was park, and you just kind of felt your way down through the gears. That's the same setup actually I have on my 56 GMC, if you've seen videos on that. But anyway, yeah, windows still roll up and down. That's good, at least this one does. And it doesn't shut. Yeah, there we go. Let's pop the hood and see what we think. I'm gonna pop you in. I'm gonna put you back in the stand so I can have both hands. Hang on just a second. Oh, we have had a critter. Oh, fresh too. Yeah, we've had a critter living in here. I would guess that that's a possum. all this trash. No battery, but there is just a tremendous amount of trash, and that's a telltale sign of a possum. They are trash collectors and will make a bed out of trash. But small block, single barrel carb. You know, we put a brake booster on it. We put the disc brakes. Got the ram horn exhaust, which is actually kind of desirable, I believe. They were on the truck when we got. This was the engine that was in the truck when I got it. Remember, right? We put a new heater core and all that good stuff in it, so it had heat. All right, I'm going to take. Oh, I put all brand new wiring harness in it when we were doing it. Can't remember who I got that from at the time. All right, so I'm going to take a minute and get this mess out of here, get all this trash out of here. I've got an air compressor. I may try and, it's unfortunate that we didn't get this covered. Well, everything seems free. It's only been here 6 or 7 years. Yeah, you can tell I worked on it. We didn't even put a clamp on the fuel line. I think I'll take the fuel line off of it. I don't know if there's any fuel left in it or not, but I'm gonna take that off and see if it pumps anything out. But all right, I'm going to get some trash cleaned out of here and get an air compressor, blow this off, kind of clean it up a little bit, and then let's just see what happens. You know, we have got some very fresh poop from something. Whatever has been living in here was just in here yesterday, as fresh as that looks. Wow, look at all the stuff they have stuffed in here. Okay. We got the anti-theft system going. Two black battery cables. So we'll have to figure out trace. Well, that's pretty easy. That's the ground right here because it's grounded to the block, and that must be down to the starter. So, all right, let me go get that air compressor and just kind of hit this. Not that there's not already some junk in this car, but okay. Said that was the negative. Not that it's going to matter. We got plenty of cable on this thing. I don't see any sparks flying. All right, I'm going to go. I forgot to grab a pair of pliers or something. I want to take that. I want to take that fuel line off of there. we turn it over, let's check let's make sure there's some oil in it. Oh yeah. Might be over full. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. Look how it's separating on there, like, and it's really full. I wonder if, I would have thought we would have had antifreeze in it, but I wonder if we broke one if the blocks broke or anything. No, the radiator's dry. Huh, that's not good. Well, it's got a clutch fan. I'm just going to hit the key and go. We'll see if it turns. All right, let's see what happens. Well, it didn't sound too good. It did turn over, but it sounds like we got a dead battery. Luckily, I brought another dead battery to replace it with. So let me go get that. Now let's see if this battery's got any juice. We don't have points. It's got HEI. So more than likely we've got fire. We're gonna really have fire now. She popped off. I'm not seeing anything come out of that fuel pump, this fuel line. Are you? Oh. You know what? This has got I didn't realize that. It's got an electric fuel pump on it. Somewhere. We don't have a mechanical pump. Interesting. I don't remember that. Oh, I hear the fuel pump. Uh-oh. We got nothing. I am hearing the fuel pump kick on when we... So, I think maybe if we get some gas, hopefully get some fuel in the tank. All right, I don't want to run down my battery because it's the only one I got left. I am going to go, I didn't bring enough fuel to put in the tank, so I'm going to go get some fuel, and then we will turn on the electric fuel pump and see if we can get anything to go through that. Okay guys, before we get too deep into this video, I want to make sure you guys understand the goal. I don't think I've expressed it I'm not trying to get this running today and drive it 300 miles someplace. Today is just an assessment of it to see what I need to do to get it to run. So I'm hoping to get it to run idle enough that maybe I can put some air in the tire and drop it in gear and go forward and backward and then figure out, you know, what it is I need to do to make it get the engine to run dependably. So yeah, just so that you know, we're not actually going to take it, you know, take it for a spin or anything like that, other than just right here in the lot. So, what do you think about those things back there? That you got that camo Corvair van. That's sweet, isn't it? And then the other little Chevy van, I think, is a '66. I think it's got a 283 small block in it. Somebody's put in it. Those are projects for down the road. Also, got to have projects. You know, got to have something to do. I've dumped a couple gallons of gas in it. We're going to be looking right here. And I'm going to go turn the key on. I heard the pump, the electric pump, kick on. So hopefully within just a matter of seconds we see some fuel start spitting out of that. And then we'll hook it back up to the car. I saw it. Hopefully you guys did. Oh yeah, that'll leak a little bit. All right. Let's see if we can get it to run for more than just a couple seconds. Must be out of power steering fluid. Well, that actually didn't sound too bad. It sounds like it's missing out. I wonder if we've fouled a plug or got a bad plug wire somewhere. I think what I want to do is get some water or antifreeze in the radiator so I can run it long enough to let it warm up. We need to put some power steering fluid in it so that whining noise isn't distracting us from what else we're doing. So let me go get a couple fluids and get those topped off. So when I pulled the radiator cap off of it, there was actually fluid back in it. So the water pump has pumped what little bit of fluid was in the bottom. It pumped it, it was in the block, it pumped it up to the radiator, so that's good. So maybe it's not broke or cracked. So I just topped it off a little bit. It didn't even take less than a half a gallon to top that off. All right, there's some power steering fluid. I think what I'm going to do too is pop this. Before we go jamming on a brake pedal, let's see if there's any fluid in it. Yeah. Got some in the front, but the back looks dry. Yeah, the back's dry, so we got a leak somewhere, I would assume. we'll go ahead and put some more in. Front's actually pretty full. Well, come on, work with me here. Okay. All right, let's start it up again. Now I know it's got some fluid in it up here. Hopefully that power steering pump will quit making noise. Let's try it again. I actually aired up the tire over here, see if it was going to hold air. I'm going to turn that steering wheel, try and see if I get that power steering fluid to I don't know if it's the clutch on that fan or if it's a belt. Something doesn't make some good noises. That sounds like a belt. Okay, well, I'm gonna hop in it and throw it in gear. Let's see if it does the forward-backward thing. Couldn't tell if it was stuck in a hole or, yeah, it looks like it might have been in a hole too. The alternator's working, the generator light went out. So, alright, I'm going to pick up the little bit of tools I've got here and open up the gate in this fence in this back parking lot. And see if it'll move. Yeah, she's a little smoky, but that's, you know, as long as it's been sitting. It'll take those rings a little bit to come back around. And she's definitely missing out. She's not hitting on all cylinders right, so. Nice to see it not sitting in that spot now. At least that that is a nice step forward. Let's go take it for a spin, just around the parking lot. All right. We don't got many PSI on the oil thing. And we got a couple of the brakes are working. Oh yeah, the brakes are coming around actually. She's got pretty good brakes, actually. All right, let's see if it'll do the backup thing. Oh yeah, transmission's coming around. Oh, listen to her pop, 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 pop. Definitely going to need a tune-up. All right, well, guys, I think that's actually all I'm going to do for today's video. I'm going to make a parts list. Oh, this is a narrow opening here. I'm going to make a parts list. Let's just park it over here. We got a lot of junk back here. A lot of junk. Park it right in here somewhere. Oh yeah, transmission, brakes, everything is coming back around. Wherever you get some PSIs, we don't got any temps. I don't even know how this thing works. I wonder if the radio works. Oh, we got no jams. Oh, missing out. It's I don't know if it got plugs bad or wires, but I'm put you on video. Hey everybody, this is my son Brock. This was his truck. We built this your senior year of high school, right?
Yeah, it's
2012?
16, 17.
Yeah, and you drove it for a few years, and then
It's been sitting.
been sitting for quite a while. So we're gonna get it back up and running though. All right, later guys. I'll see you. We'll continue on this truck. I'm gonna call it good for today. So I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.